We have been following these reports with great surprise, of course, and we sympathize with the human tragedy. In any case, this is a humanitarian catastrophe that affects everyone. At the same time, it must be acknowledged that this is the failure of the immigration policy the European Union has pursued for many years, not only in terms of migration management or the lack of it. It is also reflected in how the EU positions itself in the world and the policies it pursues toward the countries it calls its partners. The root cause of these migration waves is the West's own policies, which included aggressive actions against Iraq and Syria. We are now seeing what is happening in Iran and Libya. Entire regions of the African continent have effectively lost their statehood. Statehood includes healthcare, the education system, and everything related to ensuring the lives of ordinary people have become a haven for terrorists and extremists. This is the result of the West's own policies, and today it is facing the consequences in a form that causes concern not only to the countries affected by these migration waves, but to everyone with common sense. We are monitoring the situation. We believe the Spanish government will find ways to resolve the problem in accordance with international law and with a tolerant and humanitarian approach to the fate of every migrant and all those seeking a better life. This is an example of so-called European solidarity. I will not comment further on that. They like to talk about solidarity. In reality, their solidarity today is expressed only in competing over who can take a tougher stance against the Russian Federation and who can attribute more hostile intentions to our country. But here we see that when it comes to their own interests, it's a different story, and no one is going to help the Spanish. Unfortunately, Swiss neutrality in its classical form is a thing of the past. Switzerland is closely integrated into the military preparations of both the European Union and NATO and takes part in joint military activities. At the same time, we know there are public movements and political forces in Switzerland that advocate returning to the country's traditional policy of neutrality and shielding Switzerland from the turbulence created by NATO and the European Union. Germany reaffirmed its non-nuclear status by committing not to deploy nuclear weapons. In addition, under the treaty, Germany also undertook to reduce the strength of the Bundeswehr to 370,000 personnel. Today, however, German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius says the Bundeswehr should be expanded to 460,000 personnel. For us, this course toward militarization is no secret. We see it and will adjust our military and military development plans accordingly. What is striking, however, is Europe's silence on the matter, a silence of the lambs. The militarization of Germany should at least give the European community pause, given the historical lessons it should have learned from German revanchism, militarism, and the tragedies endured by all European nations. We remain in constant contact with the Turkish side. Our dialogue is conducted on a permanent basis across the full range of international issues, including the situation in Ukraine. We are consistently grateful to the Turkish side for its readiness to offer its good offices and provide Turkey as a venue for possible negotiations, especially since such experience already exists.